Ladies and gentlemen, here we go with the game number 1 between FXO QXC and Evil Geniuses Puma. We're heading over to Metalopolis for our first map. Oop, that's up there. But now it's all centered and nice. And here we go, Bitter. I mean, this is going to be a freaking awesome match. QXC has been great at TVT, defeating TLO one of the first weeks. And if you haven't seen that, catch that, because they're pretty sick games, especially the one on Shattered Temple. But QXC in that particular game went mech. I'm not sure if we'll see that this time around, because that was pre 1.4 patch. Marine and Marauder seem like QXC style more so than mech, in my opinion. Yeah,
mech's been really popular in TVT ever since the Slayers Terrans came out to MLG Anaheim and showed just how good Blue Flame Hellions really are. Since 1.4, we've seen some guys returning to that bio style. Cass is an example of a very good European Terran who plays bio every single game. But mech's still very, very viable, and I would honestly expect one of these two guys to do it, if not both.
Yeah, I would agree. I think actually Marine Marauder Siege Tank is probably the way to go. Oh my gosh, hold that thought. Maybe we won't see that at all. QXC is actually gearing up.
QXT.
We're going to see a double proxy barracks attack. And this could go so poorly for Puma, because Puma really doesn't have... Oh my god, this one SCV is actually... Look at this one SCV. Puma is so intelligent. He's actually going directly over both of these barracks. And oh my god. It could be game over right now, Andre, after seeing this.
That's not supposed to happen when you use a build like this. Puma, what an excellent scout. He's even going to be picking away at one of these SCVs. Not quite going to kill at QXC, too good for that. He's going to run him away there.
That's brutal, though, man.
Got a little ring around the rosy happening here. I think that one SCV should just go home.
Yep, he should. Please don't stay. And yeah, there it goes. Now this one Marine will pop out in time for, you know, this SCV to be properly defended. Another SCV is actually going to come out here. QXC just making sure that he can definitely continue that barracks. But look at this. Already a bunker goes down. We don't see any gas, so it looks like Puma will just defend against this and probably take a command center. And that's the perfect way to do this.
Okay, so I thought maybe QXC was going to go for it, but not going to get up there in time with a bunker there. Puma's going to be pretty safe.
Yeah, and as you said, Puma taking the command center. And he's just so far ahead of his opponent now. Income tap showing 16 harvesters to 14. Already slightly behind, but not a big deal just yet. But just the fact that Puma has this one command center and now throwing down 2 additional refineries, he's worlds ahead of his opponent.
QXC, I like it. Yeah, QXC's behind. His command center is going to be later. He's going to be down in workers, but he's going to bunker up in Puma's natural, and that's going to say, okay, Puma, I concede that you're a little bit ahead here, but you're not getting down this ramp until you've got some serious firepower.
Yeah.
So it's going to make it really hard for Puma to just float down there and have a free expansion. And QXC going to take his expansion in a hidden spot, so Puma's not going to know exactly what's up. We'll have to see if Puma continues to scout amazingly and spots that, or if it's going to go unseen.
This is so awesome, actually. QXC putting in the top left-hand corner. If you put it at the natural, that would really expose himself, tell Puma exactly where he's at, right? He knows, oh, okay, this is what my opponent's capable of. But now that he doesn't see this expansion, it creates a very interesting dynamic where Puma actually thinks he's a lot farther ahead than he is. Now, it's going to be up to Puma if he actually can recognize that and say, okay, I'm not that far ahead. Let me go ahead and just scout out the place. But there's a very, very high probability that Puma thinks, oh, well, you know, QXC, this makes sense. QXC over-invested in that one attack in the beginning stage. I'm really, really comfortable. I can get away with a lot more. That introduces a lot of different mind games QXC could be doing against his opponent.
Yeah, I think you're exactly right. I love the way that he is doing this. He's going to throw down a couple more racks as well, so he's going to be playing a biocentric style. Puma, on the other hand, has that first factory down. 1 racks, 1 factory. Makes me think that Puma is thinking either mech or maybe even Puma wants to make a couple cloak Banshees.
Yeah, I think it probably will go towards mech. If he went for something like mass bio, he would have put down 2 additional barracks before he actually took the gases. That's the more standard approach, or at least 1 gas, something like that, but not put down 2 gases before any of the barracks go down. So this is most likely going to be some sort of Banshee opening. As we can see, the starport is coming out. The factory was a little delayed in getting that tech labs down. And look at that, a 3rd command center. This is so smart by Puma. Oh my gosh, Bitter. Everything that's coming out of him is so awesome.
Yeah, this is really good play. Like even if he doesn't realize that QXC's got this hidden base here, making some Banshees is gonna it's sneaky. The cloak means you've only got 1 orbital to scan with, so it's gonna be really hard to actually catch a Banshee. Now QXC does actually have 2 orbitals, so that's gonna go his way a little bit. But wait, what in the world? What map is this? There's destructible rocks on the gold base?
Yeah, that's NASL Metalopolis, man. Doesn't really change a huge part of this game, in my opinion. Actually, is pretty minuscule. Now, I do want to mention that there was a big scan that went down in QXC's base, and Puma was actually able to see a ton of barracks with tech labs on them. So I think in this position, QXC is... No, Puma is under the impression that this might be some sort of all-in coming from his opponent. And that's what I really feel. Puma is just going to play super defensive to this. I think this is a perfect example for, or perfect timing for QXC actually to take a 3rd base, or rather his natural, I should say, and really start to deceive his opponent, because if he stays on 1 base for too long, it'll be an instant giveaway that there's some sort of ninja expansion on the map.
Man, Andre, I don't know what you were watching during that whole spiel, but I hope it was Puma's natural, where QXC was showcasing some really excellent marine micro, killing 3 Marines and 3 SCVs with 3 Marines. What the hell?
Oh man, QXC apparently just such a beast. Unfortunately, I missed that. God darn it.
That was pretty sick nerd baller.
Definitely watching this 1 Banshee though, and I'm balling it out. 5 kills already. A lot of these Marine kills. He hasn't yet started on any SCVs. There's 1 straggling SCV over here. Puma is just letting that go. But there's another Banshee coming in here.
Yeah, another Banshee coming in here. QXC's done a good job of getting some turrets up though. It's going to be really tough for these Banshees to find openings. I think QXC's extremely well covered, and he's actually put himself in a pretty damn good position in this game. He's down a command center, so he's not able to make workers as quickly. He's not able to drop as many mules. So ultimately, he is technically economically behind, but he's starting his 3rd base, and he's going to be mining on 3 bases before Puma. So I don't know, man. This is pretty close.
Yep. Now, I do want to mention the tech deviation. We do see bio from QXC. The standard from him, I really assumed he was going to do something like bio, because QXC is known for that really high aggression and just keeping everything on a razor's edge, whereas Puma, he's going the tech route, and that makes sense. Going the tech route, I think, is a lot smarter, especially from him playing in Korea. You know, you are introduced to a little bit more latency, a little bit more ping, so it could be a lot harder to have that micro-intensive battles with the Marines and Marauders. Going something like mass siege tanks is a lot more manageable when you're dealing with a lot more lag.
Oh, QXC with a pretty scary-looking push here. There's only a bunker with 4 Marines and 2 tanks there. I really think QXC could make something happen if he really wanted to.
Nope, I think he's just going to back off for now. Banshees are going to be engaged. He cloaks them last minute. And look at the 6 o'clock position. Whoa, there is a proxy expansion going down here. This is a ninja expansion, but look how he's doing. He's only looking to take the gas. That is so clever, because a lot of times you only scout over here. You don't normally scout the entire base to see if there's some sort of proxy. And QXC will probably let that go freely, unfortunately, because, you know, all tech really needs, all the mech really needs is gas. You actually have quite a bit of surplus in the amount of minerals that you have, so getting that gas is going to be so advantageous.
Oh, Banshee's in the middle of the map getting scanned, and 2 of them do fall. A single Banshee remaining for Puma. And wow, this is, Andre, this is something I have honestly never seen. A command center hiding and only taking gases. That's this is new for me.
I remember seeing this once. I forgot who it was. I think it was... Oh my goodness, what is his name? I forgot. It was from StarCraft 1. I remember it happening on... I don't even remember the map name anymore. Towcross in the top right-hand corner has a Protoss, but I forgot who was playing. It was Mondragon versus someone. Mondragon versus someone. It was the Protoss that went to Korea.
Noni?
No, it wasn't Noni. It was the
Elky?
other one. Draco.
Draco. He was really good.
Yeah, he was.
The only thing slightly akin to this that I've seen in StarCraft 2, I have actually seen Sokka, the German Protoss player, in PvPs. You know how PvP can sometimes be one base versus one base for a really long time? He'll actually take the gas and the natural without expanding there and just distance mine it. So
that is awesome.
That's kind of similar and kind of cool because it gives you that gas advantage, which lets you get one or two more Colossi than your opponent.
Yeah, that is a pretty cool way to actually do PvP. I'm actually going to definitely try that in my PvPs on ladder, but for now we have this Terran versus Terran, and still that same theory is holding true, that Ninja expansion is definitely helping out a lot for both these players actually, but that gas is going to help out so much. Now finally Puma feeling a little bit more confident. Now when you go mech, the one thing you have to be careful for is the counterattacks. We can see that the main just holds everything, but the turrets over here that's just defending against any mass drop is so clutch from Puma. If that wasn't there, QXC would be dropping on his opponent all day long. He would never be able to push out. It gives QXC the biggest amount of time to actually push out and just take all the expansions he wants. That's not going to happen. He has the turrets there. Puma is very well defended, and this push is so strong. I don't think there's any way for QXC to do anything about this.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. He's going to have to find some sort of opening. You don't want to fight Marines against Hellion Siege Tank Banshee. That's not a good fight.
No.
Puma is just very, very slowly inching forward. And this is one of the coolest little maneuvers I've ever seen, just taking so much time, edging those turrets forward so that there's no chance of drops getting in. Look at Puma. He's floated the command center over to the top of the base of the map as well. And right now, Puma is mining for one of QXC's expansions, and this could be a big deal if the game were to reach the super late stage.
Oh, yeah. I mean, if they both split half map, which is what you're talking about, I'm sure, then QXC will have a less potential resources to actually mine from, since he's already mining from this 12 o'clock position. One thing I do have to mention, there's a huge drop coming out here in the command center will be spot. There's no way in hell that this one command center will live. Look at how many Marines and Marauders are right there. But
that didn't go so well.
No, it didn't.
Oh my god. That's a bio hit squad if I've ever seen one.
There's a lot of Vikings on the field, and if those Vikings catch those medevacs off guard, that will be game-ending, in my opinion. Oh, QXC, don't tell me you're actually going to gear up for this attack. That would be so bad. Please don't. He's in range of the sensor tower. I highly doubt that QXC will do that, because he's just...
Vikings coming back. Does QXC have any idea what his opponent actually has waiting in his base? Actually has no idea.
Scan it.
Of the very extensive turret ring. Gold base is now secured for Puma, and he's continuing to just inch forward. And what we're having here, or what's developing here, is a situation where there is just a very, very difficult to deal with mech army against an incredibly cheap, cost-effective, and disposable bio army. But at the end of the day, if you just throw the two against each other, I think the mech army is going to win 9 times out of 10.
Yeah, I definitely agree to that. I mean, especially if they're sieged. Here comes that big drop. The medevacs, oh my god, they're just getting ripped to shreds, and that means there's no retreat path for any of these units. Medevacs are very low in HP, and look at that. That was probably the most efficient thing he could possibly done. Units lost tab just skyrocketing for QXC. QXC is losing so much stuff.
Wow.
That really
was not the best drop that I've ever seen in my life. QXC killing very, very little there. The supplies of QXC plummeting down to only 140 supplies. He's going to try to push up and hit this gold base, though, catching his opponent a little bit out of position. But Puma's not that far away, and with mass repair on this planetary, could it possibly fall? Planetary in the red going down to 300 health. But now the repairs are starting to stack up. The army of QXC starting to melt away, and Puma does hold once again. And now, Andre, 177 supply for Puma, only 120 for QXC. What can our American Terran do?
I have no clue. 23 siege tanks out in the field, a 0 for QXC. This is a monstrous lead for Puma. Puma can literally just 1A into his opponent's natural, and there is nothing that QXC can do. This is just such great play, such conservative play by QXC, I have to say. And look at that, Marines trying to gun up here. Of course they can't do anything. This Orbital Command Center has to be lifted. And Puma actually not choosing to put the aggression on just yet. I like this decision. He's actually getting 2 Orbital Command Centers. He'll probably lift to the bottom right and the bottom middle pretty soon. But for now, he just wants to take all of the space he possibly can. I wouldn't be surprised if he just maxed it 200, gets additional siege tanks. He's actually right now supply caps, so it's actually affecting him quite a bit. Get those turrets down again in the main, and then push out. Be absolutely safe with everything you do. You don't want to be all of a sudden you're way ahead and then you go into a base race just because 4 medevacs dropped some units and killed all your factories.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty good call, man. And I just want to comment on the supply cap for Puma. That's been pretty substantial. He's been sitting on about 170 of 170 supply for a while, and then getting stuck again on 178. Fusion core going down now for Puma.
Weird.
What could that mean?
Well, of course, battle cruisers. Not yet does a Thor require that fusion core.
Man, what a silly change.
Well, it's a super unit now. It's a super duper unit.
It's already a super unit. You can just build as many as you want.
Yeah. Well, no longer will that exist. But we'll see. Heart of Swarm might change up. For now, Puma has allowed QXC to get his just about 200 army. He's at 183. These medevacs are actually gearing up for some sort of it looks like it was some sort of drop on all of these siege tanks, but of course those Vikings get in there in the nick of time and stop that from happening. He's going to turret up that side, just take his half. We can see all turrets along everywhere. He hasn't actually turret up his main all too much, but he does have a little bit of a perimeter. Now has the bottom middle. Here, finally, I foresee Puma finally going up to the 12 o'clock position. All he has to do is deny Bitter. Just deny that 12 o'clock.
Man, Puma has built so many turrets around the map. I'm just trying to get a count. Right now, he's got about 24 turrets around the map. Just denying drops and scouting and things like that. And that was before QXC dropped and killed half of them. So Puma definitely investing in those turrets. But I got to say, man, it makes a lot of sense when you're playing this sort of a mech style.
Yep. I mean, as we said before, you don't want to die to silly little counterattacks. Those drops can be so annoying.
This is like watching Flash play Brood War, man.
Yeah, exactly, man. This is exactly Terran vs. Protoss Flash from StarCraft 1. Oh my gosh, and look at this. He's just inching his way up into that 12 o'clock position. Here, finally, the Marines and Marauders. Are they going to come? Yes, SCV is being pulled off from the top, but there's just too little. These siege tanks just tear through everything. Now, finally, Marauders might be able to work into these siege tank counts, but 184 supply to 90 right now. Units lost tab showing 20,000 lost as opposed to 10,000. Oh my gosh, double the efficiency for Puma. And Puma has more resources, more income, more everything. This is an unwinnable position for QXC.
Yeah, double the efficiency and incidentally double the supply. Puma is going to be pushing in on QXC's last really untouched mining base up here at 12 o'clock. QXC's more or less mined out. Well, actually, wow, why isn't his main and natural mined out? That makes no sense to me. Mining out his third before his main and his nat.
Whoa, that is really weird. Of course, the third was started before the natural, but yeah, still.
Oh, yeah, actually, that makes a hell of a lot more sense now that I think about it. He took the third first, but still, sort of uncommon mineral saturation there for sure. Super, super huge push coming up here for Puma at the top of the map. QXC not really ready to bow out yet, but as you said, this is a virtually unwinnable position for the Bandana Terran.
Yeah, Bandana Terran right now trying to get as much out of these starports as possible. He's actually getting some medevacs right now. I think he was able to see, let's see if he saw the fusion core. How did he even see that? Okay, he sees 2 starports down, so he's just like, oh, I have to be very careful of some sort of battlecruiser switch. That's very, very normal for a mech to go into something like battlecruiser, just to get that power. Battlecruiser siege tank is very strong. For now, it looks like a big drop is going to come down here onto Puma's siege tanks. Oh my goodness, taking control of the air and now doing this.
Yes, so QXC will finally drop on top of the siege tanks. This is going to be a small victory for QXC. He's going to kill some tanks here, and that is awesome. But the supplies are just still so in favor of Puma. 190 for Puma, 120 for QXC, and also 4 battle cruisers in production, Andre.
Yep, the cattle bruisers are very strong, 4 battle cruisers, and once he starts to take air dominance again, he will be really, really good because QXC has no way to deal with that. I mean, the only way to deal with battlecruisers efficiently, in my opinion, is to get Vikings. QXC knows this. He's just going to tap out GG, and Puma is going to take game number 1. And QXC fighting hard. We have to remember that, you know, it went on for so long, but to come back from that double proxy barracks opening and, you know, almost win the game. Well, not really almost win the game. Puma really had a great handle on that entire, you know, what was it, 20, 30-minute game. But still, for him to survive that long and make it kind of close, it really is a testament to QXC's ability to come back into games.
Yeah, QXC really played a nice game there. Puma just played a little bit better. He got ahead in the beginning, and he wasn't going to relinquish control of that game, playing so patiently, so methodically, so intelligently. I have never seen a Terran player build more turrets. He was throwing up like 10 more turrets at the end of that game for something like 72 turrets in total. Like really ridiculous amounts of turrets just around the map. But it's so smart because of how immobile a mech Terran is. If you can't really move your army back to defend a drop, just make it impossible to get dropped, right?
Exactly, and that's exactly what Puma did. I mean, that's such an important thing when you're going up against Bio, to just stop any form of drops happening. That being said, it's QXC's job to make sure that drops work. So add in those Ravens, get those PDDs down there, and make sure that the drops are completely successful. It would have been a very different game if he was able to do that, but I know his gas was kind of short with all the upgrades he has to get, all the Marines and Marauders he has to get, and the economy being lagging so far behind Puma. You have to make a lot of sacrifices. But that being said, go ahead.
Oh, no, I was just going to say, and especially in a mirror more so than in any other matchup, when you get a little bit behind, it's just so hard to come back.
Definitely. But that being said, let's go into game 2 and see if Bandana Terran QXC can come back into this. Join us. We'll be back with Puma up 1-0 in this best of 3.